we'll gather around, feel the love come down. Blue elephant is strong, together we belong. In every comment right, you lift.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing a very beginner friendly, very simple but very elegant project, and we are going to use this gorgeous, it's a Swan kind of jar, trinket dish, whatever. And we are going to be using some Rolio Pearl White for our Super Sparkle and some of Into Resin's Aurora Powder number 2. Now, I thought I had used this color before. Evidently not, because I had to open it. So we're going to use that. Now, the first thing that I want to do is I am going to paint just a little bit of this Aurora Powder onto my mold. Now, I'm just doing it kind of in the wing section. Like, you can see the wing opposite where I'm working now, those little lines that are going up just there, and a little bit on the front, and maybe the tail, just to kind of give it a little bit more, right? Now, I've got my resin. It is mixing up right now using my Resiners dual mixer that I just recently received, and I'm absolutely loving it. And I am using Let's Resin's epoxy resin for this. Now, I mixed up about 6 ounces. I'm not really sure how much this holds. I've not used this mold before, so we're gonna kind of just wing it and see. The bottom part of the mold, where the actual like bowl part is, I'm not super worried about the amount of resin going in. Now, for the lid, I definitely am. There is a lot of space there, and the last thing I want is another day like I had a few videos back where I had to worry about flash curing. So quite honestly, if I didn't mix up enough resin, I'm perfectly fine with that. We were going to do this in 2 separate pours because I don't want to take the chance of a flash cure, because that is very dangerous. So right now I'm just with a little bit of alcohol and some Q-tips and this little, I don't even know what kind of applicator brush it is. It's kind of got like a spongy end on it. I'm just cleaning up the Aurora powder from the spaces that I don't want it. All right, my resin is all mixed up. Now we're going to add some of this to our resin. And what it's going to do is it's kind of like a very similar to like a ghost or interference powder, where you get the kind of like whitish effect. It's a white powder, but you kind of get that Aurora Borealis type look to it, where it shimmers in different colors depending on what it is. Now, it's different from an interference powder, as you're not going to use nearly as much. Like, an interference powder is basically a white mica that has the color, the shimmer added to it, and you use it and you typically color it white, and it just has that. This is we're going for a clear look ish. It's not exactly clear once you put it in there. Like, it is, but it isn't. It's kind of got like a frosted look to it, right? That's going to have the shift of color depending on how you're looking at it. All right. Now, I didn't pour. I split my resin into 2 separate cups because it was pretty full. Put it through my Let's Resin bubble remover because, like I said, we are going clear, so there is no hiding of bubbles. And I'm just slowly pouring this in. Now, I did spray the mold with alcohol first and kind of rubbed it all around with my fingers. And now I'm just going, because I only filled it about halfway, I'm just going around kind of smushing it out in case there's any bubbles that are stuck to the bottom of the mold. And we are going to fill this up, set this off to the side, and wait for it to cure. Now, these type of molds that are like bowl shaped or whatever, and they have a very hollow opening that doesn't have any kind of support system like this one, it's just the outer edge of the mold and that's it. There's no support keeping it in line with the shape that it's supposed to be. You do want to be very careful when you are setting it to wherever you're setting it to cure, that it is in the correct shape. Otherwise, you're going to have a misshapen bottom, top, whatever the case may be, right? So make sure that when you set it off to the side, it is in the shape that it is supposed to be. Okay, so that's done. Now it's time to go in and do this Swan. Now, hindsight is a wonderful thing. Like I said, I've never used this mold before, and I did go in there and spray a little bit of alcohol in the head. I don't know if you can see here in a second when I put it back down eventually. I'm trying to make sure there's no air bubbles caught in there. But, oh, come on, Nicole. Put it down. Okay. Do you see where the head is and then where the neck is? There's that little piece where you can see in between the mold. I didn't realize this until demold that actually what I should have done is there's not supposed to be resin in there. That's so that you can get the neck out. It's supposed to be open, right? I have never had a mold like this before, so I didn't know what I was looking for. So really, if you have like a clip or something like that, that you can clip that together, that is what you're supposed to do to prevent the resin from going in there. Because as I found out, once I demolded it and realized, I was like, well, this doesn't look like it's supposed to be here. It's not. And it's too thick to cut it. Like, could I use a tool? Probably, but it's going to be a whole lot of work. And then it just might not turn out looking good. So I just left it be. All right. And then I don't know if you've seen, I have a little cross setting off to the side. That is a commission piece that I'm just doing as I do this because it literally takes a couple drips of resin. I did not have enough to fill this up. So this is 24 hours later. That first layer is completely cured. And now we're going in and we're going to fill it up the rest of the way. Now, a lot of times you'll notice with your clear resin, you're going to get the lines. I got lucky, I guess. I didn't get lines in this. To avoid lines in your resin when you are doing multiple layers, don't wait for it to completely cure. Wait for it to hit. If you're using a regular 1-to-1 that takes, that 18 to 24-hour cure time. And honestly, you want to look at your particular kind of resin because every resin is different. When it hits that super sticky, like farther along than if you're going to do a Petri effect, okay? When it's like almost set but not set and it's super gloopy and sticky and you can barely string it out, right? That's when you want to pour your next layer. And then that's going to join it together and you're not going to have to worry, in theory, about lines. Again, it's going to vary from resin to resin as far as the brand and what type of resin you use, but that's how you're going to avoid that. Now, I didn't have any issues with it, thank God, but it could. All right, so this piece is clearly done before my other piece was, so I went ahead and demolded it, and I thought about doing something to it, but I really wanted to wait until the head was cured before I went ahead and, decorated it or any of that stuff. So we're just gonna wait on that. Now we are gonna go ahead and do the cross. Now she wanted this little musical note on there. So what I'm gonna do is it's just a charm. I'm just gonna take some snippers and I'm going to snip off the little round part that you would put a jump ring through. Just to get that off, make sure that there's no jagged, sharp edges, anything like that. And then I'm just going to top coat it with UV resin. Now, you could use E6000 to glue it on, and that would work perfectly fine. The only reason that I'm not doing that is because it's so thin that in order to get enough of the E6000 on that I would feel confident that it's a secure bond, you would see the glue, and I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and use just a tiny bit because this cross is very thin and very small, and I don't want it to go over. So just enough that basically it's going to go to all of the edges. I'm going to make sure that it is touching all the edges so that when I cure it, I don't have an issue with it looking dumb because it's not. And then I'm going to very carefully set the musical note on there in the position that I want it in. And then I am going to use my Let's Resin cordless UV light. And I'm going to do the first minute up high. And then after that first minute, I'm going to bring it down low and cure it for, about 3 more minutes. Okay, so this piece is too skinny for a glue-on bail, so I am using a pinch bail and I have to drill a hole. So just use Let's Resin's cordless drill for that. Put a little hole in there and putting the pinch bail on. Bam, this is done, ready to go. And now it is time to get my resin out of the bubble remover machine and finish adding it to the Swan so that we can get moving with this. All right, so I did up another 4 ounces, and I'm hoping that that will be enough. I've already added in all of the Aurora powder and the Rolio, and hopefully I did it the same amount so that it doesn't look stupid. And then just going around with my dotting tool to make sure that where that join line is going to be between the two, between the cured resin and the not cured, I tend to get bubbles there sometimes. Just to make sure that there's nothing there, and go up around that lip. Okay, so 24 hours later, and here we are. It is time to finally demold this and see what we got. All right, so now I did struggle a little bit with the neck. It wasn't nothing serious, but it was a little bit not difficult to get out, but it it took a slight little bit of fiddling to get it out of there. Not so much that I would say don't buy this mold, anything like that. It could be just because when I did this, I had a bad night with my hands, so my hands are on the weaker side of things, which tends to happen more often than not here lately, unfortunately. Okay, anyway, are you guys ready? Let's see how this looks. And this is where I notice that there's that middle piece in there. And I'm like, that just, it can't be right. It can't be right. So I looked at the mold, and I realized that that part should have been put together. So kind of pay attention to your molds too when you got new ones that you don't know, how they're supposed to come out. But it's fine. It'll be fine. Like, I don't think it necessarily takes away from the piece. It definitely would look better if it wasn't in there, but I don't think it's anything worth trashing it over. So the other thing that I did notice is that the top, I clearly put more Aurora powder in the top than I did the bottom. Either that or it just looks like that because I brushed it on, but you can tell a difference between the top and the bottom. Again, I don't think it's too horrible. It is what it is at this point, honestly. What I decided is I want to add some rhinestones, and these ones are almost like chameleon rhinestones. They color shift depending on how the light kind of hits it, and they've got all of the perfect colors that the Aurora powder that I used has, and so I thought that they would play really nicely with the colors that are on the Swan itself. So just in these little grooves along the top, I'm just going to add it to both sides of the wings. I'm going to give her some eyes with crystal rhinestones. And then we're going to do something with the beak just to kind of set it off. And that's really it. Just super simple. Nothing crazy. Nothing, completely, like your typical Nicole video. It's simple. Very, very beginner friendly. But I think that it has just a simple, beautiful elegance to it that would be perfect for, honestly, upcoming weddings. We're getting into the wedding time of the year where everybody and their mother wants to get married. I think it would be very beautiful as like a centerpiece, or, something like that, like maybe on the bridal party's table, just anything. It's very, very beautiful. Anyway, I'm just gonna finish this up, and that's pretty much a wrap on this one, guys. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Thursday, we are going to be revealing the winner of the members only clock challenge that you guys are voting on. If you haven't voted, check out the community tab and select which clock you like the best so that we can get as many votes in as possible. And I will be announcing the winner in Thursday's video, along with revealing what I made for this challenge as well. And then for those of you that are channel members, we will be voting sometime this week on what our next upcoming challenge will be. So that should be really, really fun so that we can get started on that. Anyway, guys, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I will see you on Thursday in the next one. Love ya. Bye.
Together we belong. In every comment right, you lift me to new heights. Your support, it's clear, gives me reason to cheer. Blue elephant crew, this one's a for you. much we care. Likes and shares, they